In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the division of decimals by whole numbers, and the essential question that we are going to answer is how can you divide decimals by whole numbers? Now I want you to turn your Go Math books to page 213, have your math journal out along with your pencil. So let's take a look at this problem. It says in a swimming relay, each swimmer swims an equal part of the total distance. Brianna and 3 other swimmers won a relay in 5 68/100 minutes. What is the average time each girl swam? Now, taking a look at that question off to the side, it says how many swimmers are part of the relay team? Okay, it's important to understand this because it appears as though that there are only 3. However, we can see that it says Brianna and 3 other swimmers. Okay, so we can see that. Now it's important to know that Brianna is included within that, so there are 4 total swimmers. Now, the division problem that we're going to work through is 5 68/100 divided by 4. Now, the process that we can take a look at is we can take 5 68/100, as you can see right here, and we can divide that by 4. Alright, so what we can do, we can have 5 68/100 divided by 4 if we want to set it up as a division house. So what we do here, we just follow the simple steps of dividing, multiplying, subtracting, checking, and bringing down. Remember that little phrase, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? And as we do this, we completely ignore the decimal point. We don't worry about it at all, okay, until we get to the decimal point there, or until we get to the answer. Okay, so we have 4 goes into 5 one time, okay, and after we do that, we multiply 4 times 1. That gives us 4, and then we subtract 5 minus 4, giving us 1. The next thing you can see is we want to check and make sure that the 1s cannot be shared among 4 groups without regrouping. We're okay there. And then the next thing we want to take a look at, so we have that 1 that's there, and then we bring down that 6, making it 16. So let's take a look at 4 into 16. Okay, is going to go 4 times. Alright, so we can see we want to divide 16/10 divided by 4, and we know that's 4. And then from here, you can see we multiply 4 times 4 tenths is going to give us 16. And then after that, we can subtract 16 tenths. You can see 16 minus 16, okay, which is going to give us 0. Now we need to check 0 tenth, or tenths, cannot be shared among 4 groups. In other words, this number needs to be less than my divisor. Moving right along, after we've checked, what we need to do is we need to bring down, kind of show you the answer, and I'll walk you through it here. So we bring down, that's an 8. Okay, we have our 0, we brought down our 8. Now what we need to do is share hundredths, divide 8/100 divided by 4. It's going to give us 2, so we're going to multiply 2 hundredths now. 2 times 4 gives us 8. So then from here we want to subtract 8 hundredths minus 8 hundredths, and we need to check, obviously, that 0 is less than 4, or in other words, 0 hundredths cannot be shared among 4 groups. Now we need to place a decimal point in the quotient to separate the 1s and the tenths. What we do is just take that decimal point, just move it right up, okay, right up there within our quotient. So we see that each girl swam an average of 1 42/100 minutes. And you can also see within the model how 1 42/100 is shared amongst the 4 groups. Okay, now another way you can do this is you can use an estimated answer. Okay, so what we can see, we can divide $40.89 divided by 47, and what we're going to do is we're just going to take that $40.89 and we're going to change that into 4,000 hundredths divided by 50. Okay, we take that 47 and we round that up to the nearest 10. Okay, so 4,000 hundredths divided by 50 is going to give us 80 hundredths, or 80 cents. Okay, and then from here, what we can do is we can take a look at this, and we can divide. We know 47 is not going to go into 4 or 40, but it can go into 408. Okay, and we're going to say 8 times, so let's write that in there. 8 times 47 is actually going to give us 376, so we multiply. Now it's time to subtract. 408 minus 376 is going to give us 32. We know that 32 is less than 47, so we check it, then we bring down our 9. And we start everything over again. 47 into 329, that's going to go 7 times. Then we multiply. 7 times 47 is 329. Then we subtract. 329 from 329 is going to give us 0. We need to place our decimal point right above, right where it is within our problem here. Okay, and we have, you can see, 87 cents. Now, before I even do that, okay, to place my decimal point, we can use our estimated answer, which was 80, to place our decimal point, okay, to show there are no ones. So we have 80 cents. So it would not be $8.70. We just put that decimal point right in front of the 8. So $40.89 divided by 47 is 87 cents. So I need to place that decimal point to the left of the 8 because my estimated answer had a decimal point to the left of the 8 as well. Okay, let's take a look at this next section here. It says divide, use multiplication to check your work. Okay, so we have 23 into 79 and 35 hundredths. Okay, so the 23 cannot go into 7, cannot go into 9. It can go into 79. Okay, so 3 times, so let's write that there. Then we multiply. 3 times 23 is going to give us 69. Now we subtract. 79 minus 69 is going to give us 10. 10 is less than 23. We check. Now we can bring down the 3. Now we start our steps all over again. 23 into 103 is going to go 4 times. 4 times 23 is 92. Now we subtract. 103 minus 92 is 11. 11 is less than 23. And we can continue. Bring down our 5. We subtract again. 23 into 115 is going to go 5 times. 5 times 23 is 115. We can subtract. There's nothing left over. Now what we need to do, I'm going to use a different color of ink. We're going to bring that decimal point right above there, and we can multiply 3 or we can put our decimal point for 3 and 45 hundredths. Now what we do is we take that 3 and 45 hundredths and multiply it by our 23. So 3 and 45 hundredths by 23 to see if we get our dividend. And if we get our dividend once we multiply these two together, that means that 3 and 45 hundredths is the correct answer. Okay, so the first step, we're going to multiply 3 and 5. It's going to give me 15. Put my 5 here, carry my 1. 3 and 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Put my 3 here, carry the 1. 3 and 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Use a different color of ink and erase that top part there. And we'll put our 0. 2 and 5 gives us 10. Put our 0 there, carry the 1. 2 and 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And 2 and 3 is 6. Add everything together. 5 and 0 is 5. 3 and 0 is 3. 9, 7. We have 2 digits to the right of the decimal in my problem, 2 to the right for our answer. So that is a way that you can check your division work. You can multiply your quotient by your divisor, and if you do get your dividend, that means you do have the correct answer. Okay, now what I want you to do is complete these 2 problems all by yourself, and I want you to use estimation in order to figure out where that decimal point point needs to go. So estimate these two answers and then pause the video as you're estimating it, and then when you press play I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, so we used estimated answers. You see we found compatible numbers. Our estimated answer was 3, so we knew that the decimal point would go between the 2 and the 4. Using the estimated 60 divided by 30 giving us 2, we know that that decimal point would go between the 1 and the 3. Okay, I want you to work through these two problems at your seat all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answers for you. So pause the video now. Okay, here are the two answers. Make sure that your answers match mine. Check my work, make sure it looks just like yours, and you can move on if you have these answers correct. If not, you may have to go back and watch some of the parts of the video over again. Let's take a look at these two problems, work through them. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answers for you. So pause the video now. Okay, the answers we have here: 3 4/10 and 2 57/100. Okay, I want you to work through this test prep problem. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answers for you. Pause the video now. Okay, the answer is letter A. And going over the essential question, how can you divide decimals by whole numbers? You can estimate the quotient first, then I divide as I would with whole numbers. Finally, I use my estimate to place the decimal point in the quotient. Is a way that you can do that, or you can even just push that decimal point right up where it is within the dividend. So this concludes the video on division of decimals by whole numbers. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.